Hello fellow photographers, welcome to another episode of the Planit for Photographers video tutorial. In this video tutorial, I will show you how to use the Sun and the Moon Finder feature. The Sun and the Moon Finder is on the 5th page. You can tap the 5th rectangle directly, or you can drag down from title bar and select over here, it's the same thing. This is a page for the Sun and the Moon Finder. As you can see here, all the value over here are blue color, which means all of them are editable. You can tap on the first one, it lets you what target to find. You start with sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset, and full moon, and all other moon phases. The second and the third one are define the area that you are searching for. Let's say you choose the sunrise, and in this case we are searching for sunrise at 0° elevation angle and for any azimuth. So you can tap here to give a different elevation angle, or you can tap this button to give a different range. For the same thing with the azimuth, you can give an azimuth and also give a range over here. Then on the second row, there is a starting date, there's the ending date. Both dates define a date range. And here it shows all the results that satisfy the condition. Many people think the Sun and Moon Finder feature is only used for when do some moon or sun alignment shot, but that's not the case. Like in the previous video, I did a plan of a moon alignment, but I didn't use the Finder feature at all. That's because I already know which date to shoot, so I just try to find a location so that the moon will align with the Black Mountain. A typical use case for the Finder feature is the camera location is fixed or relative fixed. Then you try to find a date or dates that has a better composition or a better night. You probably already noticed there is an orange fan when you switch to the Finder page. Because it's sunrise, this fan is indicating the azimuth range of the sunrise. And if you select the sunset, it will be on the other side. That's the sunset azimuth range. Same thing with the moonrise and the moonset. Let's say I select this month. You can see the range becomes smaller. And if you select this year, have a bigger range. But if I select the moonrise, this is 1 year's moonrise range. But if I select this month, you see still pretty much the same. That's because the moon gonna repeat itself every month and sun gonna repeat itself every year. The other interesting thing, this is the range of the sunrise in San Diego. But if I move the camera location to north, like to Canada, you see the range gets bigger. And if I move further north to Alaska, it's even bigger now. So when you get to a new location, you probably should take a look at this sun range so you can understand how the sun movement in that location. Now I'm gonna show you a real case that the sunrise range could be useful. Let me note a marker file I saved before, which is the San Diego markers. Over here is the San Diego downtown area, and I have a bunch of markers of different buildings. As a landscape photographer, we all like to take a picture of the skyline. I'm in San Diego, so I enjoy taking skyline of San Diego. The classic location of the San Diego skyline is at this Colorado Island, where there is a ferry landing right over here. And if you take a picture from there, you have got a pretty nice skyline. But if you look at the sunrise range, and you will see it just past the majority of the skyline. So which means you cannot have a skyline with the sunrise just behind it. And to take a picture of the sunrise behind the skyline, you have to change the location. Here it looks pretty good one, but this area is belong to a Marine Corps, so you cannot go there. So we have to go to these two islands, either Harbor Island or the Shelter Island, to take a picture. For this tutorial, I will use the Shelter Island as the example. So let's set the camera over here. And for the same location, I'm gonna set to the highest building, which is One American Plaza. To do that, I can list all markers because I can sort marker by its height. And I have the One American Plaza has a height specified, so I can just tap here to see the One American Plaza, and I can click this scene button to set the scene location to One American Plaza. Then I'll switch to the focal length just the camera angle view, so it's cover the whole skyline. Then I change the viewfinder mode to take a look. So from here, you can see the simulation of San Diego skyline. And now it's time to define the range of the sunrise. I can of course tap here to enter the number. But a quick way to do that is use the little hand icon right over here. Right now it's green, it means if I drag the viewfinder gonna go with my finger. But if I tap it to make it gray, I can drag the viewfinder to define the area. This is the area that the sunrise will appear. So if you look at all the 68 results, you can tap each one to see it. All of them was in this range. Tap the next button or the previous button to go to each result. You can also non-press. You just go continuously, go to the next one. Let's take a look at all the results. The first one on February, March, then nothing after that, then it's September, October. So which means in order to capture a sunrise behind the skyline, it's only possible during those 4 months. So that's the one conclusion we got. Of course, I would like to find some interesting composition. And in this case, I would like to find the sunrise just behind the One American Plaza. So this is the One American Plaza. Let's see how to make it possible. So to do that, I'm gonna zoom in the viewfinder to 200 millimeter so that I can see where the One American Plaza is. Then I will drag the aerial. So I just drag some small aerial just above the top of the One American Plaza. So I got line result back. I can tap to see each one. And keep in mind, when you're shooting a sunrise, you don't want the sun to be completely visible, because in that case, the sun will be so bright and it will be throughout the exposure easily, unless there's some fog or some cloud that cover part of the sun. But if it's clear day, you might want the sun just rise on top of the One American Plaza, just a little bit. This way you can get some nice starburst effect. And to do that, I'll fine tune the sun position. So let's say I will select this date as the date I want to take this picture. So I'll adjust it so that the sun was just a little bit above the top of the One American Plaza. So the next right over here. But right now the position is a little bit off, so I would like the sun to move over there. To do that, you do the same thing as in the previous video tutorial, and you drag this camera location. So you just drag and this way. Now you see the line become bold, which means it's aligned properly. So let's go back, take a look. You can see it's right there. That's how I combine the finder feature along with the adjusting camera location to find a date where I can have a perfect aligned sunrise picture. The next thing, I'm gonna do a search for the moonrise. And if you simply change it to the full moon, only 2 results back. So you can tap 1 to see it. Yeah, both dates have already passed. Maybe I was looking for a date that in the future. So let me change the searching area to a bigger range. I got a 5 result. Let me click to see each one. This one looks good, but it's not on top of the One American Plaza. And for the moon, it's different from sun. For the moon, I wouldn't like to have majority of the moon visible, not just a little bit like the sun. So I want as much as possible. And in this case, maybe this is okay, maybe somewhere around here. Then I need to go back to change the camera again. So I will drag to the north until it's a 9. Okay, it's a 9 right over here. You see the 9? Let's take a look. See, it's right at 9. I can even zoom in more to see it. There is some overlap. That's something I wanted. And if you want it all the way to the top, you can do that as well. But I think right now is okay. I don't want to be moon completely detached from the building. So a little bit of overlap is better. That's how I find another date where you can have a perfect alignment shot with the moon on top of One American Plaza. We can also check the sun elevation, which is at 0.3 degree, which means just before the sunset. So that's a perfect timing. I think I'm pretty much done with the sun and the moon finder feature, but I'm gonna teach a little bit more here. So uh, there usually just not one location where you can take the skyline, but same thing with San Diego. This is a good location from Treasure Island. I'm gonna tap here to add a marker so that I can save that location. I'm gonna give a different icon here. For camera location, I usually use these two icons. But in this case, because it's overlooked with scenic view, I'm gonna select this one instead. In San Diego, there is a lot of location where you can get a pretty nice skyline, which is from in this neighborhood right over here. I can non-press, I can zoom in here. So there is a cross section, and here is a pretty good location to take a picture. So I add another marker, same icon. Now I have two markers. Both of them are camera location. So if I want to change my camera location from here to there, what should I do? There are two ways to do it. One way is you can tap here to select this marker. Then you can tap this set button and set camera location. That's one way. The other way is you can long press. When you long press, it will become floating. Then you can drag it. You can release at any time to set the camera over there. But in this case, when I get close to this marker, you can see it slapping. So try to see it again. It's slapping. So this makes it very easy to change the camera location to an existing marker. So if I zoom in now, you can see it slapping perfectly at this marker location. So that's just a quick tip I want to let you know. Now I can use the Street View feature to take a look. So that's where the skyline is. For Street View, I can do some estimation of the sun or moon position, but for a more precise plan, I usually want to go to this Finder feature over here. So I will define the moon in this range. Well, notice that I still have filter enabled, but I can non-press here to disable the filter. So you can non-press, now I got a 7 result back. In this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to analyze the result. Let's take a look. All of them have the same moon elevation, but they have a different sun elevations. Let's look at the first one. The sun elevation was at negative 7.2 degree. It is in the blue hour range, which means you can have a pretty nice color of the sky if you shoot in at the same time you have a moon. But keep in mind, the sun elevation was relatively low. If I take a picture of the foreground, you probably will have the moon overexposed. In this case, you probably should take pictures that the moon is not overexposed. Then later, take another picture to have it properly exposed to the foreground. Then you combine them together. The second result, as you can see, the sun elevation was at negative 18 degrees. That's really low, and it's already past blue hour. If there's no cloud, it's very hard to take a picture that looks nice in this case. The third one, the sun elevation was at 12 degrees. The sun was still very high. The moonrise will not be very interesting because it's so bright and the moon just looks like a tiny cloud. The next one will be interesting because it's near the sunset time. We can take a look at this one. The moon is over there. And since there's the mountain I can see, the mountain will be lit up in red because of the setting sun near the horizon. And the windows on the building probably gonna reflect some light as well. So this will be some interesting shot. And for the next one, the sun was at negative 9 degrees, which is similar to the first one. And for this one, it's very similar to the fourth one. And this one is very similar to the fifth one, so I got skip those. This one is also very interesting because if you look at it, I can zoom in to let you take a look. You can see the moon was just right between the two mountains. So that will be interesting shot right over there. That's pretty much covered the plan. And now I'm gonna show you 3 San Diego skyline picture I took. The first one was taken a few years ago when I just started working on the Planit. This is the first alignment shot I used Planit to predict the location. Me and a couple of friends go there, we set up tripod and we wait for the moon to rise. When I just saw the moon, I feel my prediction was wrong. So grab the tripod and run one direction. But soon I realized I was wrong. My original location is correct, so I quickly go back and got this shot. That's the only time I didn't trust myself. And now I know Planit is very accurate, so I don't run anymore. And for this one, I try to capture the moon when it just rises, but unfortunately there are some clouds cover the moon. I cannot see it. Only when the moon rises high enough, I can see the moon. And the cloud happened to be very dramatic in this case, and it blocked the moon and reduced the brightness of the moon. So luckily I can get this picture in one shot. This picture was taken when the sun was just set. Because San Diego skyline is very even, so I decided to put the moon right in the center when it just rises above this mountain. So as you can see, all three pictures were taken at different time. The first one was at a blue hour. The second one was past blue hour, almost into dark light. The third one was taken just past the sunset. Each one has a different night condition and have a different feeling if you look at them. That's why in this finder feature, when you look at all the results, you want to understand the night condition of each result and decide what to do with it. All those results are not the same. It's all different every time. That's the end of this video tutorial. Thank you for watching. Until next time.